Okay, goodbye, chapter 10. Engel watched as Josephine washed the dishes, watched her kiss Oliver goodbye, watched her gather herself carefully before getting into the car. They sat in the back seat as she drove until the city thinned out, and then pulled over to the side of the road. All around them were trees, not a single other person in sight. Engel could feel the coiled tension that had been building up in Josephine all day, held tight to her core, and they could feel how slowly she released that tension, just before she started to cry. They leaned into the shift fully, absorbing it. No words, just raw emotion. They felt it too, a sharp, hot, stabbing pain over the heart. They mimicked catching their breath just to deepen the experience. Her throat was burning. The space where their throat would have been tried to burn with hers. Engel listened as the thoughts flooded into the space of the car next. Josephine was caught on the word crazy, the way she'd said it lightly, lovingly, as if the word had no teeth. Words had sharp edges, and maybe one day, that word would be a blade Oliver would use against her. She had given Oliver grace. If she were vulnerable, would he do the same for her? She was hurt and angry that he had hidden his experiences from her. She was offended that he had assumed he knew how she would respond. They had both intended to protect the other, and in doing so, eroded trust. She had performed warmth for him, when what they had both needed was a real conversation about consequences. That was not fair. He was capable, and he was her partner. The urge to run and hide came up. Repair would be expensive, and it would take time. It was tempting to skip all of the work and move on, start fresh. She took a deep breath and told herself that she was not going to run. She was going to take responsibility for herself and keep showing up. The big feelings would pass. The structure they had built together would remain. She turned up the music in her car and sobbed, her face pressed against the steering wheel. Engel felt like they were crying too, and unlike the girl, they took some pleasure in the pain. It was nice to feel something so sharp and sincere. It was nice to feel. They wanted to climb inside her body and experience life as she experienced it. It was tempting, so tempting, but they resisted. Observe, not absorb. They stayed where they were, distinct but connected, and let the waves of emotion move through their being. When her face had dried and she'd spent some time in quiet stillness, they shifted away. When she started the car and drove home, Engel did not follow her. They stood in the dark, listening to birds and distant traffic, gazing up into the sky as their whole being exhaled.